10:18 p.m. 2/6/2026. More time spent on South Korea? Really? I don't agree with harming any living thing, but if you feel like doing something to them financially that just doesn't bother all the really poor people, then go ahead and do it. If you have a business, go ahead, charge more to the South Koreans. If you ever if you ever have to defend yourself against a South Korean, do not hesitate. Uh so anyway, I had a court date on some day, I don't know. Well, anyway, what was that? I forget what day the court date was. Well, some girl who I've had sexual relations with 3 times got a protective order against me in a court date at 8 a.m. one morning. Uh, there was some guy in the protective order case before me who was crying because he couldn't see his kids while simultaneously asking me for some Tupac. The judge asked me for some Tupac. I drive around the city, everybody on the street asks me for some Tupac. I go home, I turn on the news. I realize I feel like buying some nicotine vape, some tobacco vape, so I go to the vape store a different way than I used to. I didn't want to stress my brakes at the stop in front of the Red Cross, and I ran a red light. Before that, or after that, well, the officer who ticketed me, his last name was Jordan, and Chinese New Year is on Michael Jordan's birthday this year. Well, anyway, uh, so this whole city has been mentally abusing me for the past 17 years. And it's not really that much fun. Well, anyway, sometime I looked at the TV. I don't know if it was before or after I got the traffic ticket. And at some time I noticed there was a South Korean guy who was on the TV just for a second with Jimmy Fallon. He tried to mentally abuse me and say that it didn't really matter. Doesn't really matter that people are asking me for some Tupac. What's giving somebody here's some Tupac, dude? Tupac said the game's to be sold, not told. What, if you want some of my energy, then pay me money. If you want some of Tupac's energy, then listen to Tupac. You can buy my music. The flowers are purple and the sky is blue and waves on the shore is on sale on the gbdguitar.bandcamp.com webpage. Well, anyway, so I mean, what is that? What could I talk about? Kundalini energy or something? That just sounds like a kind of, I don't know if that's a random term or like a guess term to use for the energy I was feeling. But pretty much this dude bothered me, and I was just like, what? And it ends up it was some Canadian from a gay hockey player movie that was on Jimmy Fallon. And so all South Korea can't seem to differentiate themselves from some Canadian, Korean, Dutch person who plays a gay hockey player, and they made me feel like I was being pile on tackled. And a lot of other things happened, pretty much this guy was bothering me. I didn't feel like being bothered. And I don't know if I wrote to the government and complained, or how many governments I wrote to and complained. But eventually, uh, well, in 2005, I went to San Francisco, and I slept on Ocean Beach one night, and there were some South Korean girls, and I treated them kind, and I have a picture of myself with them, and I smoke herb in California, and I've had a medical marijuana card. So anyway, uh, I didn't have a card at the time. I was from Indiana. Well, anyway, I'm on the beach and they have a picture of me and I have a rolled. I don't know if it was tobacco or weed. That picture. Do I really want to do that? Should I have to do? It was weed. I don't feel like dealing with this bullshit. Well, anyway, I smoke weed around South Korean. I smoked some weed around some. I smoked some marijuana around some South Korean girls on Ocean Beach, and so eventually, like, it's going to go back to that thing I just did. Like, no, I don't want to do that shit. Where I'm like, was it tobacco? Was it weed? It's an herb. Well, anyway, uh, I go to the University of Southern Indiana women's basketball games sometimes, and I went there, and there was this South Korean good basketball player. Had good interaction, positive time the whole time. Well, no, it wasn't actually. I don't know if somebody abused somebody in my family during the second quarter when my family was at a different location. But anyways, things the South Korea I didn't know what was going on. The South Korean girl and I were having. I think that was the time somebody might abuse my family and like so anyway, the South Korean girl and I who was playing basketball. She's just not, there's 10 basketball players on the court. She was a basketball player. She was a good basketball player. I stayed positive. I acted like I had paid money to see some college students play basketball. Uh, if we communicated telepathically as I was driving away, I was like, well, do you want me to eat at Jaya's South Korean restaurant? And just trying to be really nice and stuff, the way I used to coddle South Koreans. And like, so are they really weak and like Japan abused them? Are they like weak and vulnerable, or are they these super happy fun balls? Are they weak and vulnerable, or are they these like really powerful people? And like they try to like by day act like they're really weak and vulnerable, and then by night act like they're these really powerful, aggressive people who try to act bad. And like so eventually I'm at home and like I'm just dealing with whatever was going on, and I wrote to other countries and I told them, you know, this country is really annoying me because they can't differentiate themselves between some dude who was born in Canada and he's Korean and Dutch and plays as a gay hockey player and like every other South Korean. Like they couldn't figure out not to bother me like him. And like so anyway, eventually during the day these South Korean girls I smoked marijuana around got like threatened, and they South Koreans are trying to make me think that they were in danger. Go forward later in the night, I'm communicating with this South Korean basketball player, and she tries to do some shit where instead of somebody else holding those girls hostage, she like tries to act like I'm about trying to hold them hostage because I'm like, well, is it tobacco? Is it weed or something? And she does this thing. She sends me a mental image where it's like, and I'm just like, you try to make me think those girls die and I'm not doing shit to them? Hey, Michael G. Scott. Then I eventually the next day, or maybe that day, I had started the Kurt Vonnegut first novel, Player Piano, and then Bob Weir died.